Ever wondered what Biggy Smalls was trying to say in his final verse? The lyrics are cryptic, filled with hidden meaning, and leave fans to this day piecing together what was going through his mind in those final moments. Legends Eternal dives deep into Biggy's final days in today's episode. We'll dissect the bars, analyse the references, and try to crack the code on what Biggy was truly trying to convey. Join us as we explore the life and legacy of this hip-hop legend and unravel the mystery behind his final words. The notorious B.I.G., real name Christopher Wallace, wasn't destined to grow old. Gunned down on the 9th of March 1997 at just 24 years old, his life ended tragically. Conspiracy theories swirled around his demise, with some pointing fingers at the LAPD. At the time of his death, Biggie's net worth, adjusted for inflation, was a staggering $10 million. Who would have benefited from his murder? A trip overshadowed by fear. Biggy Smalls, the king of East Coast rap, wasn't feeling the sunshine in LA. It was February 1997, and he'd flown out to promote his new album, Life After Death. But the excitement was laced with worry. The West Coast-East Coast rap feud was raging, and Tupac Shakur, Biggie's biggest rival, had been murdered just 6 months prior. The threats were real enough that Biggie hired security. He wasn't just some kid anymore. He was a superstar, and danger seemed to lurk around every corner. Even a radio interview turned serious when Biggie admitted he feared for his safety. Life After Death was due on shelves by March 25th, but the countdown felt ominous. Things took a turn at the Soul Train Awards. Biggie presented an award, but a portion of the crowd booed him. Was it leftover tension from the feud? It didn't help his nerves. He was supposed to fly to London the next day, but plans changed. Instead, he found himself at a huge party thrown by Vibe magazine. Over 1,000 people were there, a mix of celebrities and gang members. It felt less like a party and more like a potential powder keg. Even the photographer Biggie was supposed to meet felt the heat. Death threats kept him away. Los Angeles, the city of angels, wasn't feeling very angelic for the notorious B.I.G., a fatal stop. The Vibe party was over, but the night wasn't. It was past midnight on March 9th, 1997, and Biggie and his crew piled into 2 green SUVs to head to another after-party. The first party got shut down for being too loud and crowded, but the night was young. Biggie rode shotgun with his friends, with Puff Daddy following in another car with his own crew. Security trailed behind in a separate vehicle, a precaution Biggie felt he had to take. The streets were buzzing with people leaving the museum. Biggie's car stopped at a red light, just another routine moment. Then, everything changed. A dark Chevy Impala SS pulled up beside them. A window rolled down, a gun appeared, and shots rang out. 4 bullets ripped into Biggie's body. Panic seized the car. They rushed him to the hospital, but it was too late. The notorious B.I.G. was dead at 24 years old. The celebration turned into a tragedy. Who was driving the Chevy Impala SS? A medical mystery. The world reeled after Biggie's death. The autopsy, released years later, offered a chilling glimpse into the final moments. 3 of the 4 bullets didn't deliver the fatal blow. 1 grazed his arm, another went through his back and shoulder, and a 3rd nicked his leg. But the 4th one was a nightmare. It ripped through his hip, tearing through vital organs before lodging in his shoulder. Doctors fought to save him, but the damage was too extensive. The news of Biggie's death spread like wildfire. Fans and fellow rappers were devastated. Nas, another rap giant, felt like the genre itself had been dealt a crippling blow. The loss of both Biggie and Tupac, rivals turned tragic figures, left a gaping hole in the world of hip-hop. A conspiracy unfolds. Biggie's murder became a breeding ground for speculation. Newspapers, documentaries, and magazines spun tales of gangs, crooked cops, and a bitter coast-to-coast rap war. It was a goldmine for some, but for those seeking the truth, it was a confusing mess. One theory, championed by a book and a movie, pointed the finger at Suge Knight and a corrupt LAPD Rampart Division officer David Mack. They claim Knight orchestrated the hit in retaliation for Tupac's murder. An informant and a sketch seemed to support this, but critics cried foul, calling it flimsy evidence. Meanwhile, The Los Angeles Times itself became embroiled in the story. Different sections reported conflicting theories, with one section even publishing a photo of an innocent man mistakenly identified as the possible shooter. The paper later had to retract the story, clearing the man's name. Another theory emerged from a later article, suggesting a key witness for the initial theory might be unreliable. This further clouded the waters, leaving more questions than answers. As for the motive, some pointed to the East Coast-West Coast feud itself, suggesting the rappers were more valuable dead than alive to their record labels. The LAPD reopened the investigation in 2006, but even with a new suspect, a gang member with ties to Suge Knight, they couldn't crack the case. In 2012, Biggie's autopsy results were released, a last-ditch effort to generate new leads. A legal labyrinth. Biggie's mom, Valletta, wasn't about to let his death go unanswered. Believing the LAPD had dropped the ball, she filed a wrongful death claim against the city in 2002. Their evidence? Information gathered by Russell Poole, the LAPD detective who believed a corrupt cop was involved. The case went to trial in 2005, but a key witness suddenly claimed memory problems and recanted his previous statements. Then, a bombshell. During the trial, a mysterious call came in. Someone claiming to be an LAPD officer offered new details about the case. The judge halted the trial and ordered an investigation. This unearthed a trove of hidden documents, including interviews with a jailhouse informant who claimed a corrupt cop had confessed to involvement in Biggie's murder. With this new evidence, the judge declared a mistrial and awarded Biggie's family legal fees, but the case for LAPD wrongdoing remained unproven. Biggie's family wasn't done. In 2007, they filed another wrongful death suit, this time directly naming 2 LAPD officers tied to the Rampart corruption scandal. The lawsuit alleged these officers were involved in a cover-up, but a judge ultimately dismissed the case in 2010 on a technicality. Biggie's family had missed a deadline to file a claim. One central tenet of both Biggie's and Tupac's murders remains consistent, and that is Suge Knight. A repeat violent offender who ran death row records like something out of a mafia movie, his employment of an army of corrupt police officers such as Nino Durden, Kevin Gaines, David Mack and Rafael Perez probably tell us all we need to know as to why these murders are still unsolved. The truth may just be too embarrassing for law enforcement to let surface. We hope we shed some light on the meaning behind Biggie's final verse. What do you think Biggie was trying to say? Let us know in the comments below, and be sure to hit that like button if you enjoyed the video. Biggie's legacy is far from over. If you want to stay tuned for more explorations of legends, subscribe to LegendsEternalTV. Ready to continue your journey down memory lane? Choose your next destination from our library of videos. See you there.